few weeks ago, I was actually talking with my friend Jeanette here, and I saw Jeanette. Hi, Jeanette. How are you? And we were talking about, oh my gosh, how are we going to recruit without testing?
Yeah.
And um, it's such an important part of the recruitment process, and not necessarily the only thing that's involved in the recruitment process. And so the wheels started turning. I thought, I want to do something to reach out to our educators. We're so very grateful for everyone's support, and I want to do something in all of this, but I want to keep it relative and not just inundate you with information that you're already getting. And so um, we talked about putting something like this together, and then very timely, I got a call from my friend Pat Toben at Sioux City Schools, and Pat is the Arts and Community Education coordinator for the Sioux City Community School District. They're now the fourth year in a row received the NAM Foundation's Best Communities for Music Education, and so Pat's a forward thinker, and her call came just at the right time. And we started talking about this and said, hey, why don't we get someone like Marcia Neel in here? And we can do a little question answer, and we can talk about this important subject of recruitment, because it is so important to your program. It is the future of the program, and you'll never have as many kids as they start in the fourth grade orchestra or the fifth grade band or sixth grade band. And it is absolutely the most important thing to do to the future of the programs. And it's the most important thing for us to continue serving the program. So let's have a recruitment webinar. Let's have a recruitment roundtable, get some ideas going. And what are we going to do with the inability to test, or at least it seems like the inability to test right now? So I'm going to turn it over to Pat to say a few things and kind of get things rolling with part of a recruitment video. And then I'll go over a couple things, some tools that we have. Some of them we just recently uploaded to our website. And then we'll get things going with the question and answer with Marcia. We don't plan to go too long today. We want to get everyone together and get some good ideas flowing. So, Pat, do you have a few things you want to say?
Perfect. Thank you, Mike, and thank you for the kind words. It's because I've got a great team that I work with on a daily basis that helps get us to where we are. Thank the rest of you around we're 4 states. Mike, do we have 4 states represented today? Yeah.
I think so.
Thank you.
Yep, I think there's 4 here.
Thank you for spending some time this morning. I know there's been a ton of webinars and a lot of discussion about, what do we do in the fall? Are we going back in the fall? What does that look like, and how do we move forward? So one of the forefront things is that recruitment, and we usually do a lot of that in the spring through elementary music, getting kids interested in instruments and test trials and etc. So on Mike's website, on Midbell's website, which I put that link in the chat box, is a video that they've uploaded, and I'm going to share a little bit of that right now.
My older brother, he was in band, and when I used to go to his concerts, I was like, I want to do something like that. I want to be in band. I want to be a part of that.
When I think of the band, I feel as if it's like a family to me. I've made all of my best friends through band.
I feel like the most fun I have in band is when we're all together just rehearsing, because a lot of interesting things happen. You get to know people better, there are jokes, and it's a lot of fun being in band.
There's a lot of talented people around you, and it's fun to get better with people who share the same passions as you do.
The kids in band are a part of something. They feel that they belong to the school. They make their friendships. They develop who they are.
Truly, anybody can be a band kid. We have all walks of life come to us, and they can all be part of one family.
I think the funnest thing would be doing marching band and going to football games and going to competitions, because it's really fun to be with your friends.
For me, it's seeing the crowd get all excited.
Playing on the field, everything just disappears and nothing else really matters. It's just focusing in on the performance.
What I like about marching band is just the marching aspect of it, and I like putting on performances for people.
And the thing about band is they take you on trips. Go out of state, go in state.
Play a lot of tunes a lot of people know, so that they look over the pet banner and they're like, oh my God, I know that song. So that's kind of cool.
A whole bunch of athletes also are in band. Being in band really doesn't take much of your time away from sports.
During the day, I take band as a class, and then after school, I can just go to sports, and you can really focus on whatever you want to do outside of school.
I wanted to be.
All right, so then it goes into the instruments, and it's about a 5-minute video. So that is out on, sorry, I'm going between two screens here. That is out on Mike's website, and I put the link in there on the Midbell website. And then also I put this link in there as well. We're just starting a Padlet that with all of your ideas and questions that come in today. So from there, go ahead, Mike.
Thank you, Pat. Appreciate it. And, thanks for mentioning our website. Tim has just uploaded several things to that website. And I want to mention as well, there is also, just as well done, Welcome to Orchestra video, too. So there's Welcome to Band and Welcome to Orchestra. And so they are both on the website there. So a few things that we had uploaded here that I wanted to go over were the recruitment materials that already exist. And you know, I looked up recruitment. What exactly is recruitment? And it's the action of finding new people to join an organization or support a cause. And so the action that needs to be taken can look a lot of different ways. And a lot of us have been doing it one way for a long time. And we're going to have to adapt and change because things will never be the same, as we know. And so we want to utilize as many tools as we can. I can tell you this, though, that the most important part of getting people to support a cause or join an organization is good communication. And that is number one. I would say that that is our probably number one ingredient that we can incorporate into our beginning music process. I'm going to take this webinar as an example. We've got 35 participants here, and I appreciate everyone coming. How many contacts did you get on this email or on this webinar today? 5. Okay.
5.
So Katie got 5. She got probably a phone call, a personal phone call. Well, 4 emails. First of all was, hey, next week we're doing this. And then, hey, we're doing this in a couple days. Hey, it's tomorrow. And then this morning we sent, hey, don't forget, 1 hour from now on this webinar.
Don't forget my husband.
Yeah, your husband, absolutely. And on top of that, you probably received a phone call or a text message or at least an email personally from one of our reps to remind you about this too. And I wanted to bring that up because even though we sent out 5 emails, and I know everyone Zoom webinared out, so thank you for doing another one. I appreciate it. Even though we sent out 5 emails and made personal phone calls to everyone, we've still got about, I'd say 33% participation from everybody that received contact about this. And this is a great turnout. Actually, I was hoping for
it is.
But this is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful turnout. The important part moving forward here is that those parents and those students hear from you in multiple channels. And as a parent, I can tell you that we're getting emails from our school every day from every teacher. They're lengthy, and we get them for every class. I got 3 kids in the Sergeant Bluff School District, and I get something from each of their teachers too. And I think your parents are going to get absolutely inundated with a lot of email and communication. And so really personalized communication to that individual student, I think, is going to be so important. Not just the student, but the parents too. And I think it's important that we really hit them in multiple different ways: email, phone, text, Facebook. I could go on for a while, but we have on our website and I'll share my. So we have 7 time-tested ideas for recruitment success. And these are just a few. We're updating this sheet, by the way. And so it's going to have some of the ideas that we talk about today woven into this. But the overall theme here is communication with those parents. Bigger districts, it's going to be hard to make a phone call to every single parent. But maybe if your boosters could come in and you can split that up, and this parent's going to call 50 families, this parent's going to call 50 families, this parent's going to call 50 families, and we communicate that way. Again, bigger districts, that's a little harder. So we got to make partnerships with the school and have them send text messages out. Hey, your beginning band night's coming up. Hey, band sign up is happening right now. Don't forget, in a text, in an email from the building principal and from the individual teachers. So that communication, I think, is going to be absolutely paramount, especially because we're losing that traction of getting the kids excited about it by having them play test. But I think if you utilize some videos and other things, there's some other things that we can do to get them excited. So that's just one way here. That's one form that's on that page. I think we've got at least 20 different things that you can download and use in that. Oops, there we go. Stop sharing. All right. The Music Achievement Council, MAC is what it's called, and this is also from the McNabb Foundation. This is on our website. I'm not going to go to screen share there, but check that out. They've got a ton of great things. There's an entire recruitment and retention book that's got lots of sample letters, lots of great ideas. That is also on our website. There's a link there. So we talked about not being able to test kids. And so I'm going to be really careful with this because I can't make any promises, but I want to show you something that I'm working on with some other music dealers. And some of these other music dealers are looking into the possibility of acquiring these test kits in quantity. Can everybody see that screen there okay? These are something that we're just in the early stages of trying to get this figured out. And I don't know if it's going to happen or not, or if it's even going to be affordable. But if we could, it would basically be like a plastic one-time use, or use it and then put it in the dishwasher, get it cleaned, and then have it for the next student available so that kids could actually test instruments. I don't know if this is going to happen, but I'm working on it, and I'll keep everybody updated. It would be something that would basically sell to the district at very, very low cost. Made it really clear when we talked to the other dealers, this is not a sales venture here. This is something that we would invest in to help our educators be able to test kids. So we could share the cost of this in some way, but we don't know what the cost is, and we don't know if we can get them in quantities and all those kinds of things. But I wanted to just put that out there that we may still be able to test if we can use something like this. So more to come on that. Let's see. I think cleanliness is going to be an issue this year. There's going to be a lot of parents that are wondering how clean are your instruments. And I know Marcia and Pat, right before we got going here, we talked about that the letter from NAM on keeping instruments clean. And so we're going to continue doing what we've always done, which is disinfecting mouthpieces, sealing them in plastic, and so that every instrument that that our families get that rent from us is going to be clean and ready to go. I think that's going to be so important this year. And there's another part too. If kids aren't physically testing, Mike Wells brought up the other day. Hello, Mike. Eyeballing and doing visual assessment of students is going to be really important from the get-go. So that's going to help with determining, if children are physically a good physical match for the instrument that they'd like to play or that they're looking at considering playing. We know that if they're not play testing, there's a chance that there's going to be more kids that start on an instrument that isn't physically suitable for them. I just want to remind everybody that with our rental plan, it's going to be very easy to make an exchange.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a no cost to change out, and the credit that they accumulate on the first instrument will transfer right over to another one on the rental purchase plan, 100%. So I just want to assure everybody expect some more changing this coming year. More kids are going to be switch. They're going to try the flute and it's not going to work, plain and simple. So we need to switch to something else. That's fine. As far as changing them out, we're going to get you taken care of and make it very quick, very easy, and make it happen over the phone with a real simple phone call. Be part of the music is something that that we've had on our website for a long time. There's some great videos there too. I encourage you to check that out. And then another thing is engagement in a testing game. And Chris has done a lot of research. Thank you, Chris, for looking into that. What we discovered, there's just not a lot of ear training, melody memory, pitch recognition tests that are being created out there. There's the old one from the 90s, the band blast off. And that's still very good. It's starting to get a little dated, but it still works. And there's a lot of people that still use it. So that video is now on YouTube, and we have the test form on our website. You can download it. And so if you want to use that to get an idea how each student's doing, to at least get some engagement happening and get them excited about music and excited about band and involved in something. Especially if they're not going to be able to play test an instrument. So there's also an old one from Con Selmer that I think is still out there. Chris mentioned that, and I think that we can download. It was from an LP, and they converted it to a file, and that's available on YouTube too. So you can actually use that as well, just to get them engaged. I think someone's going to put together some sort of game or test that's really up to date, but I'm not sure when that's going to happen. So those are some things. These are all on our website in the Music Educator download section. Band and orchestra, really important that that you check that out, and there's all kinds of different tools. So I don't want to reinvent the wheel on that, and I've talked long enough. I am so excited that Marcia Neel has agreed to be here today. Marcia is nationally recognized. She's the president of the Music Education Consultants Incorporated, and before that, she was the coordinator of secondary fine arts for Clark County School District in Las Vegas, Nevada. And that's a big deal because she was in charge of 80,000 plus kids involved in fine arts, and knows a lot about recruitment, getting people excited about music, and keeping it fun. And just love that Marcia's here. She's full of great ideas, and she is nationally recognized. We're just really grateful to have her here today. So Marcia, thanks for taking your time to be here, and I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thanks, Mike. And all those 80,000 kids were secondary. Isn't that something? We only start elective music in secondary, so the elementary is on an ORF curriculum. So through 5th grade, they are strictly ORF. I mean, they get a lot of, music making experiences, of course, but we start our elective music program in 6th grade, which is middle school. And I'm sure you guys are at different kinds of situations. I want to start by saying what our friend Bob Morrison has been saying, and it's so worth repeating, and that is that this is not normal. So this is the year to have the year on your face where it's okay for things not to be the way they used to be. It's okay not to even do instrument testing, you know, physically, if that isn't going to work. Think like a parent. How would you respond to this? I think most importantly is that it's probably not even going to be in our hands. I think what's going to happen is school districts are going to come up with various protocols for sharing instruments, not only band instruments and orchestra instruments, but scientific instruments like microscopes, things like that. I mean, even a desk, kids share desks. I mean, they touch things. So I think what I would do is maybe ask your principal to, as soon as you can, as soon as they can, to get back to you about, you know, when they hear something coming down the pike about how are we going to approach this in schools. I don't think it's something that actually you're going to have to worry too much about, because I think you're going to be told about how to do that. So we'll see. And if you get to do instrument testing, great. What are the thing to ask would be, what are the parameters about doing that, and how can we make that happen so it's really safe? I worry a little bit about our litigious society. That's it. I mean, I really worry that it's just going to take one case to be the model case, and then all over America, there are going to be lawsuits and millions of dollars tied up because a kid, you know, instrument tested or something. So I would err on the side of caution, because there are ways to get kids interested in band and in orchestra without, I mean, and kind of getting them to the right place without having to actually do it physically. So let me just first share that the videos that Mike has talked about. Mike, if you could share, and I think you said you would, and I think Pat put them out there, the actual links to the videos. What I would do is take that link and maybe make it, talk to your principal and say, I want to embed into our school site, the landing page, something about kids becoming involved in school, you know, like welcome back to school, join the band, participate in sports. I mean, I'm sure that your school is going to want kids involved. So whatever that is, pass that along so that parents can see it, kids can see it, get excited about it, and maybe even create at the end of the, I don't know how, because I'm not a technological wizard here, but someone might be able to do this for you. Maybe at the very end of the video, there is a link to sign up, what instrument, and then all the questions that you might want to ask, or maybe it's a Google survey or something, and then you get all those responses back, and then you can, you know, begin to take care of contacting people. So think about how you can use this to your advantage. Definitely put those on the landing page of your school. Talk to your principal and just let them know you want to become involved in getting the excitement back up in school. There is nothing like the band program to create spirit. I mean, we know this spirit, you know, we have spirit days, we have all these kinds of things going on. And even on the first day of school, you might want to have some of your drummers from past years just like lining and having a back to school boulevard or something. And all the kids are playing some exciting cadences as the kids are coming back to school, walking up the pavement, going into the school. Maybe the teachers are in a line greeting the kids. I mean, it should be like a real happy thing and uplifting. So talk to your principal and say, what can we do as band folks to help make this an exciting day for everybody? So that's number one. So what we're doing in Clark County is, and I'm just going to share with you now a whole bunch of ideas and strategies. If you have any questions, please do ask them. We've asked our high school directors, and I know that those videos are a lot of high school kids, but you know, the kids who are coming into play as middle school kids, you know, want to be like the big kids. So let's show them the big kid stuff. I mean, and plus it gives them the long view of where it can lead eventually if they stay with it. So I don't have a problem with using high school kids. I mean, they have to get through middle school to get there. So, you know, it really works well. So not having middle school kids is fine. But we have asked all of our band directors and choir mariachi teachers here in the district to come up with and assign out to their to their students an assignment that's not, okay, school's out, and so now you're just going to play scales for no reason because we're not going to have a concert anymore. I mean, you know, kids are getting like really, they're kind of dropping out because of that. But give them the opportunity to make a promo video about their instrument. So let me tell you what's happened is the kids are so creative, and we all know this. Kids come up with the greatest and craziest ideas for these kinds of things. And one of them is from a student in Arizona, whose band director did the same assignment, which was great. And I'm going to provide the link for this. It's called All Day Long, and it's her recruitment video to get people to play euphonium. Of all the instruments, right? Euphonium, come on. It's great. So she sings this song and see you later, honey. And her little sister is in it, and her dad got involved with it. It's just so fun. So we're going to post that link. And Mike, I did send you this this kind of collection of videos, did I not? You're going to share, somebody else share.
Yeah.
Oh, Pat put it out, I think.
You bet.
Okay, good.
We'll
and
share
so
that.
so that's cool. And plus it gives the kids who are still in the program, and I believe that these kids have ownership, and I think part of their responsibility is recruitment. You know, I really believe that. So they should have ownership and be proud of the fact that they're in this program, and we should use this to our advantage, okay? So watch that. The second thing is to focus in on the family aspect of being in the program. And I think we get that a lot through that one video that you're going to share on your family, or on your school site. You see a lot of, I mean, that video, all of them, just total kids talking about, you know, and seeing them with other kids. You can see very clearly how important it is, because when the kids come back, they will spend all this time apart. They will want to participate in a group activity. And you know darn well moms and dads want them to get back into sports and doing group things and all of that. So that's just so good for kids. We need to capitalize on that kind of an interest also. So if you don't have a video about that, about your own band program, there are a couple that are really good ones that I'm going to share. The first one is called Carmel High School Bands Family. And we probably all know about the Carmel High School bands. They're terrific, out of Carmel, Indiana. And you can see very clearly what they did. And what they did is they asked each student to kind of write a little something about family in that band. And then the students videoed their thought, and then they just assembled these videos. So it's really, I know it's video, but you have kids who can help you create these. And we need to see happy videos. These are not instructional videos. These are not that kind of thing. These are things about looking forward and coming back. And this is what the kids need to see now, because I think they need to understand we are coming back. There's a place for you. And speaking of, there is a place, there's another video called There Is a Place that one of our directors here in Clark County actually created. And that's going to be made available to you also. And it's all about creating memories and friendship and family and all that. It's just great. So share these out, or create your own versions of these so that the kids can see what there is to offer. Now I'm talking about now a lot about recruitment, not so much retention, although I'm going to say that all these activities will help with retention, because I mean, you got to think about the fact that the kids have a lot on their plate right now. They're trying to finish up their schooling, do all the other stuff that's required of them because they're still having to test. And so our kids love to make music. They don't love to read about it or, you know, just play scales because they have to do that because to get their grade. No, they need to have a reason to be. So that's the concert. Well, if you take that away, create the videos would be a great way for them to share. And they can even do something with friends. I mean, it doesn't have to be individually. Maybe, you know, over the internet, they can get together with other kids from their section and come up with something really creative. Another thing that we wanted to capitalize on is the concept of the athlete signing day. And I think there are many awareness things that can happen with this. So your kids sign up, you get them all excited, and then you start getting feedback. Okay, these kids want to play trumpet, this wants to play blah blah blah. So what you do then is you send to them a letter, a commitment letter of commitment that they have to sign on signing day. They sign that letter, just like in college, like they do to go to college, that the athletes. And when they do, once they put the pen down, they reach over and then they put on a ball cap that has the name of the school on it, or has some music notes on it, or they put on a t-shirt or something. And go to your high school people, because they may actually have some of this swag stuff that they could use. Or maybe, Mike, you have some things that you could make available kind of reasonably to give out to kids so they can get that sense of I belong to something. And I think that's what the key is. And then the next step, of course, is, as you know, I mean, every time you turn on the news, the national news is just all bad news. And local TV stations are looking for the good news stories. And this would be a great one, you know, of your kids doing that and school starting back up, and just populate social media with it. Get the word out to your superintendent and your school board, show all this. I mean, it's going to create a lot of hype about being a music maker as a new person. And maybe you could even get some of the older kids to participate in some way. Maybe they could send a handwritten note out to these kids. I know that it's like going the extra mile, but you got to think as creatively as you possibly can. There's going to be no mistakes made. Okay. As I said, everybody's on their face. It's okay this year not to focus so much on taking that trip to Hawaii. We have to remember millions of people lost their jobs. And so it's going to be more about building. And you probably have heard a lot about social emotional learning, and it's going to be about building that back up for the kids to provide a place for them to be happy with other kids and create something that's even better as a group than who they are as individuals. Okay, so outreach. So those are some strategies just for recruitment, just kind of some different things. And then there's all that whole outreach thing, Mike, you were talking about that. And by the way, if you have questions, pop them up there, and then somebody be sure to let me know, because I'm kind of trying to look in the camera for you, okay? So if you're going to send out letters, which, you talk about communications, all right, if they're getting blasted over the internet, try letter writing, okay? And send out a letter from the school, from the band program. And if you do that, then be sure that you use quotes from current students and put something out again to your kids. Hey, I'm looking for quotes to put out in a letter about how much fun it is to be in the program and all that. So let's do that and ask you if your school can mail those out for you and just pick up the cost of the postage. I think that they would be happy, and maybe to do that. And then maybe when they have their startup letter, be sure that the band program or your music program is listed as some activity that kids can participate in when they come back to school to belong to something. And just that kind of a thing. And then here's another thing. I've been working with a school district in Ohio. Dayton, Ohio brought their music program back. It's a really high at-risk district after a 10-year absence. So they were literally starting from scratch, if you can imagine that. And so we were finishing up year 2 this year. But what they did at the beginning of this year, at the end of the summer, to help generate a lot of enthusiasm to get kids to sign back in for music, is they did robocalls. Now, every school has the ability to do robocalls. I mean, and Lord knows the politicians are going to be putting out all kinds of robocalls, and you can count on that. But it would be great to have, because if they don't answer the phone, you can always leave a message. This is so-and-so. And who can do the robocalls? Maybe some of your band parents, some of your kids, maybe your kids who are well-spoken, can talk about how much fun it is to be in the program. We want to be sure that you have this opportunity for your students. You'll be receiving this, that, or the other thing. I think it's just really important, as Mike said, to try as many different kinds of communication strategies as you can get. So robocalls, letters, because people don't get letters anymore, except bills actually sometimes, and those kinds of things. The emails, yes, webinars, as much as you can, but try those other 2 methods as well. And I love engaging parents in this, okay, because I think the parents need to be re-engaged also, along with their kids. And again, this is another retention item that would help keep the kids involved, because if the parents are involved in the program, the kids will continue to be involved in the program. It's pretty simple, okay? Use those videos, I mentioned that Mike is shared on his website, to embed them into your school website. Mike, I wonder too, if once the teachers start getting responses, if it might not be helpful for you to reach out to the parents about instruments and so forth, just to let them know that you're here to help, or maybe even ask them some of the questions to help the teachers. Because, in my school district, we typically start over 100 or 120 students a year in our beginning band program, and that's a lot of kids for one person to call. And in our district, we would love to have more than one director per school, but we have really one band director to start kids, and most of our schools have 200-300 kids in the programs per band. So anything you could do to help would just be really appreciated. All right, that would help the directors a bunch.
Absolutely.
Here's the other thing. You might consider, just for this year, and some directors would just not go for this, but this might be the year to limit the variety of instruments that you start because you might want to focus more on success than balance, right? I think it's important for the students to feel like they're in a larger group of kids and that they're all achieving a lot together. Double reads, I mean, they're just great. Maybe down the road, if you have some kids who are excelling and those kids are awesome, maybe you could transition them into a double reed instrument. But I would really think hard and a long time about how many different kinds of instruments to start. And in fact, some of the best band directors I know who eventually have gone to high school and taken their kids to Bands of America events started their middle school kids and still start middle school kids with a limited variety. And then they kind of expand it out as they see kids developing in certain directions, okay? And then in terms of replacing the whole idea of instrument, I don't want to say testing, I guess instead of instrument testing, maybe we should have instrument choosing this particular year, and then take what you get and then use your psychology to move the kids to where you think they might be better served. Again, I think it's more about kids having success in the program this year than it is having a well-balanced band. You can make up for that down the road. I mean, you're just going to have to be a good director and really focus on how can I, achieve what I need to achieve later. But right now, it's really all about the kids. We have to focus on helping them come back and be healthy emotionally as well. You all, I'm sure, a lot of your own kids, and you can gauge kind of where your students are going to be by watching your own kids and seeing what their needs are. But I can't say this enough. And then if you need to know, you could probably do, and maybe again, Mike, you could help with this. If you could do like some videos with the students who sign up for your program and look at them, have them take a quarter and put a quarter in their hand. All right. And have them hold that up. Okay. So now can you gauge how big their hands are by doing something like that? Can you have them, just by looking at their, like if they smile at you, ask them to smile, ask them to just sit in repose. And what can you gauge about the potential embouchure just from that? In fact, I think I could probably send you some ideas from our school district that they're all sharing among themselves about how best to, if we don't get to do instrument testing, what are some great ways? And I think you're going to find that you're going to be pretty close. And in the old days, I'd say, hey, see if you can blow across a pop bottle, a glass pop bottle, to see if you can be a flute player. I don't know how many glass pop bottles there are anymore, but if you can find one, maybe that still works. I don't know. So that's another idea. So just some thought. And then I don't know that I'd start percussionists or drummers right away. Everybody wants to be a drummer. Do you need more drummers? I don't know. But maybe you could hold off on that or just say, hey, if you've had some keyboard experience, we have a place for you in the percussion section or something like that. And maybe you could even say we have so many slots open in each section and do it that way. I mean, just try to be creative. So instrument choosing, yardsticks are a great idea for arm length. If you hold up a yardstick and you can see how long that kid's arms are, hey, maybe that's one way you could do that. Okay, Peter, stop chuckling. How long is your arm? You got a yardstick nearby there? So Google Hangouts, all of those kinds of things are ways that you can gauge the size of a child. So complimentary recruitment and retention materials. Okay, so you get your kids all signed up. The first thing you're going to do as soon as you start is tell them, we have a concert in 6 weeks. What? And I want you to go to musicachievementcouncil.org and download the first performance day of celebration. What that is, it's a scripted performance, and you invite actually your principal could serve as the host for the evening. And Mike, there's a little blurb there for the NASMD deal, for the local dealer to talk also. But what it does is it walks mom and dad through, the beginning of the process of learning an instrument, because what they're hearing at home is sometimes often different than what they will see and hear when they play a a group. So this is something that we highly recommend. And we have up on that site all kinds of certificates that you just type in the name and print them out. This is one of those concerts. It's more like a demo concert. So you're playing material right out of the method book. Thank you. There it is, the resources. First performance, National Day of Celebration is the first thing. And if you click on that, all of the resources come up. And there's everything from letters to the principal, to letters to the parents, everything you need to have a successful event. And also, and you don't need to buy anything. That's down there if you wanted to, but I wouldn't buy anything. Don't. Just use your method book. Play tunes out of there. Write your own story. What do you want to say about what the kids have gone through, the learning process up to this point? Maybe invite some high school kids to come and play before the concert and sort of sit out in the audience, you know, in the lobby area, or as the parents are coming in, playing a little bit, kind of get their head in the right place. Have high school students passing out programs. You need to get high school kids involved in this one activity as much as possible, because this is where mom and dad get that first long view. Oh, this could be my child, right? And then give them the, what would you call it? The Kodak moment, where they can actually walk up on the stage, take all the pictures that they want, of their kids sitting with their friends, enjoying this first experience. So get this going. The reason, but the main reason is because when you give kids that information, that bit of information, that right away we have a concert, they're gonna be like this, getting ready. And that's gonna zoom them down the achievement line. They'll practice more, because obviously they have a concert they need to prepare for. So, you know, I would really focus on ensuring that you use that. And Mike, just maybe you could send a reminder out in the fall, you know, that, hey, don't forget to download those materials. They're free. Everything is free on the site. The Music Achievement Council is a nonprofit organization, so just have at
it. And I would say too, and I'll offer this to everyone, the first performance is something we've used in the past. It's a real hit. I mean, it is a lot of fun. It's scripted. There's a whole score. And I would be happy to donate that to every single educator, that full score.
Well, that, you know, the thing about that full score is it's kind of, it's a challenge, you know, at the beginning of the year, because it's a literal piece of music. But, yeah. But I think it's great for you to do that. So, you know, that would be something then to have in the library, just to have. But you don't have to use that. You can, like I said, just use stuff out of the method book. You know, we did a session on this at the Midwest Clinic a couple of years ago. You will not believe this. We asked, and we had the parents come because we wanted to demo it for the band directors. We asked the parents two things. I should email you these slides too. The first one was, how are you feeling right now about your child playing? And then as the kids were playing, right behind them was a screen, and as it was happening, the words were coming up on the screen, and we built right there and then a word cloud, and the words, and then when the kids were done performing, we said, turn around and look, and pride, or proud, and arms like this, and it was just, I mean, the kids were really shocked. Isn't this funny? It's like, do parents and kids not talk to each other about how proud they are of them, you know? But it was so great. And then the second question we asked of the parents was, and we did this through, what's the name of this program? And we did it live, so that if you wanted to do this, you could do it. I can't find it right now. Okay, I'll have to get that to you also. I should make notes of all these things. But anyway, the second question that we asked them was, as a result of today's performance, how many of you are more likely to have your students continue on in band past this year? And a line drew across the screen at the very moment they were inputting yes or no. 100% said yes, they would. 100%. Man, if you guys could get 100% retention, oh my. So, it's called Poll Everywhere, P-O-L-L Everywhere. And you can use this, and I think schools for $25 or something, you can get this program and put this up like behind the kids. And as they're playing, you can ask these questions, and what happens is that you give the parents or the attendees kind of like a little sign-in thing on their phones, and then they answer the questions on their phones. The big thing you need to be careful of is you need to have someone kind of looking at what's coming up on the screen before they give it permission. You're getting smiles because you can probably guess what kinds of words could end up on that screen if we're not careful first, right? So yeah, but it's so great. I mean, and to see that happening, you know, if you're going to say a yes or no question, you know, you're not going to have any problem. But if you're asking people to free write, you know, words and stuff, you got to be careful. So, but it's a really cool program. And like I said, they give it to schools for pretty reasonably. The Yamaha Facebook page, it's on Facebook, Yamaha Music Educator. You're all invited. It's a closed group actually, but you're all invited to join our group because we are having some really great discussions about this very thing right now about retention and, well, more recruitment actually. And so people are sharing their great ideas about what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. And so this would be a great place to be, to get more ideas. So join the discussion and share what you can. Just know, and I'm kind of going to sign off with this idea that we need to take more of a service approach to teaching this year. How can we be of service to our communities? I would say that you're going to get a ton of parade requests probably. Well, I would say yes to them all, because for one thing, it tells the community we're back. And the community we can't be the best kept secret in the school or even I mean, you know, where are our rooms? They're way in the back 40, right? Because we're the loud people. So we need to come out. We need to be, you know, taking our music into the hallways. We need to be on birthdays of faculty bursting into the classroom and playing happy birthday on one of the instruments or something, you know, to acknowledge the fact that, hey, we're here, we're back, and we want to help raise everybody's spirits as much as we can. I would say again that the principals are going to be looking for help to increase the and bring awareness to the entire school climate, and we can do that. We can help with that immensely. So talk to your principals. You want to help? What can I do? We can help build the school climate back. Can we offer to lead a comeback activity with the faculty and even support staff? Could you do a drum circle at your very first faculty meeting, maybe offer to do that? Because drum circles are just so awesome to get everybody on the same page, literally, you know, and they're fun. And it would just be such a great way to start the year. And invite the custodians and invite the secretaries. I mean, this is for everybody. And I think it would be a super activity. You got so much junk in the percussion section. Let's use it all, right? And then maybe participate in this, as I mentioned, the Welcome Back Boulevard in some way. But just be of service. Just think about being of service this year to your kids and to your school and to your community, because I think that's going to be the success model for this year. And listen, I'm telling you this, do not worry. No one's going to have a worry about the things we normally would worry about. Stop worrying about it right now. Don't even think about it. Your concern this year is to get kids back, get them back where they belong, get their head in the right place, help them to get past this. I can't even think about what kids are going through now. I mean, in the last year, they've had to deal with, you know, shooting drills, for Pete's sake. And now what about this? There's going to be a lot of fear and apprehension about, after all this time of social distancing, how can I sit in band? I mean, with a kid that's right next to me and all that spit going around with all these instruments and all that. So, you know, I think we need to reassure them that this is a safe place to be. So those are really my comments. Do you have any questions or anything that you?
We had a question here a little earlier from Brian. Is it better to spread communication among multiple channels or try to use one form where people know where to expect it?
Well, I think you should have your own form of communication. So if people need to get a hold of you, they know how to do that, right?
Yep.
But announcements regarding recruitment need to go out every possible way they can.
Yep.
So I think, you know, if I were doing advocacy 101 from the start, you know, and that's what this really is. It's awareness again. You know, it's about getting word out again. You want to use every possible advocacy method you can. I went back to VH1. You remember VH1 Save the Music? You used to have commercials that were on TV. And I went to Save the Music. They're not affiliated with VH1 anymore. And I said, do you have any of those old commercials that you guys used to have that maybe we could put them out on the internet or something? But because I would really love to see some really good information flooding the social media channels. So, you know, Mike, use everything and you got it in your power and put it out there and just keep putting it out there, because kids need to remember that the band is something they need to participate in. It's a really great group activity. We band together, right? So I would think it would be a good thing to use every channel that you have available to you, but have one channel that's that people know how to find you. Good question. Great question. Pat, did you put up all those things I talked about already?
I did. Everything's on the Padlet.
Okay, great. So then people don't even have to, but I have a 3-page document that I put together for Mike to say, this is what I'm going to talk about. So, and I emailed it to you, I think. Did I, Mike?
You know, I was looking for it. I couldn't see it. So
okay, I'll send it to you, and then if you can put that up too, if anybody wants to have access to it.
Yeah.
And just know that I'm available to you guys if you need me to do parent meetings or any of that. Whatever you want, I'm here. Okay. My background as a music supervisor has given me some expertise in a lot of areas. So I want to be there for you to help as much as I can, because that's what it's all about. And
I will second that and back that up for Marcia. She is available 24/7. Met her a couple years ago at Music for All camp in the summer, the director's camp, and we've been in touch a lot since then. She's on social media. She's on the Yamaha director page. I'm just going to leave it at she has a presence, and she has a huge presence, and we'll get back to you very quickly. So thank you, Marcia, for that.
Sure. Be sure to put my email address up here as well. And then I'm on Facebook as Marcia Neel.
One little thing before we wrap up, and we've done a good job staying on track on recruitment. Don't forget retention too. We've had some families call in saying, well, they're done with school for the year, so we're just going to quit and turn our instrument back in. And so I want to remind everyone, reach out to those current students, and I'm sure everyone's doing that already. This is really timely. The retention piece is really super important.
And I think they're related, because, you know, if you can involve the current kids who you have right now in helping you with these videos and so forth, you're going to keep them engaged, because they're going to need their instrument to do this stuff, you know. So take a look at that video. It's called All Day Long. It's actually gone viral as a student playing euphonium all day long and promoting her euphonium. It's hilarious. You'll love it. It's just, you'll get a kick out of it. It'll make your day.
This is also on the NAM site, and the link right on our website of the Bridging the Gap between middle school and high school.
Yep.
Wonderful piece. You can download the whole thing there too. It's all free.
Yep, everything is free.
That's all free.
Yeah. And that particular piece has this is what parents can do. This is what the directors can do. Here's what the students can do. Here's what a music supervisor, I mean, so it has a separate little structure for each of the components of a well-managed program. Okay. So you'll really like that.
That's great. Any other questions? Okay.
Wonderful. I want to wish all of you the very best. I know it's going to be a challenge, but that's okay. Just accept it. Keep going. Do the best you can. And like I said, I know we're all perfectionists. We have to get over that this year and just be psychologists, perfectionists. So,
yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well,
okay.
Okay. Hey, one last thing I want to mention while I've got so many educators here. I've had families calling and saying they'd like to get in and get their instrument, but so many schools closed so abruptly, and this is lots of different districts that we hear this from. A reach out as soon as you get word from administrators that okay, we're going to be able to get in the buildings on this day to get things out. I would encourage everyone to reach out to your students, because they're asking us and we don't know the answers, and so that would be something that I'd make a priority, and just a recommendation based on what we're hearing from your students when they call in. So to know when they can get in that building and get their instrument or whatever it might be. So
I would also recommend that you if you could share back out to each other anything that you might try that's really unique and different and work for you. We need to share this left to right, top to bottom, forward and back. Okay. So be sure that you get the word out. So, and then I'll help pass the word on to everybody else too, because I'm just collecting everything that people are sharing back with me. So it's helpful.
Great. Thanks again, Marcia. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, everyone, for attending today. Really, really appreciate it, and so very grateful for all your support. We're going to get through this together, and we're looking on to next year.
Absolutely.
All right, everyone.
Hope to see some of you at Midwest.